Yeah, we get right into it. Yeah. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Run the Break podcast. I am A.R. Jones, the advocate, the wise brother for prolific, a.k.a. Big Baby. And to my right, we have the point guard, the head coach.
Yes, sir.
The final boss.
The final boss. Melo's a Hall of Famer, baby.
Yes,
Three to the dome. Melo's going to the Hall of Fame.
A.k.a. the people's champ, Randy. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's playoff time. It's WrestleMania season. College basketball just ended. You know, springtime is here. So, you know, it's a good time of the year, man. So let's get it cracking.
Most definitely. Apologies before anything, for our lack of college basketball coverage. Life was decided to life in March.
Life and during the month of March. Let's just put it like that.
During the month of March. So, you know, adult stuff be happening, but you know, we're back. We're back for the playoffs. We definitely do want to miss the NBA playoffs, and you know, throughout the year, we'll be covering some more college stuff, especially with the WNBA draft coming up. And actually, funny thing is, I don't know what draftee came in, but there was a draftee that came into LaGuardia the other day. I don't know which one, but there was a draftee that came into LaGuardia.
Definitely not paid. Beckers. That would have made news.
Yeah, that would have made news. But shout outs to anybody coming up here for the draft. Shout out to any of the women coming up to be drafted. Shout out to the women's Final Four as well. Yes. The women's championship game being crazy. And what a way to end your college career, Paige Buckets. Third all-time leading scorer in women's Final Four. Just insane. Even after her missing damn near a year from being hurt.
That'll be Juju very soon. Yep. That'll be Juju very soon. Shout out to Gino Auriemma. 12 of them things. 12 of them things. 12 of them. Dean Smith ain't even got that many titles. Coach K ain't got that many titles. Pat Summitt, she's been on one of the all-time winningest coaches. She ain't got that many. You know, Jim Boeheim, like it's a lot of them coaches. They don't have that the amount of titles that Gino Auriemma won, and for one college program to win all of it, 12 of them things. Man, I gotta give my hat off to the UConn Huskies. They definitely deserve everything that they worked hard for. They are the national champions of basketball. Can't wait to see what they do, and of course Paige going into the draft. Can't wait to see what she's gonna do when she gets to the dub.
Yeah, when she gets to what did you say? When she gets to where?
when she gets to the dub, like when she gets to the dub.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear it. It didn't come through.
My fault. I should have spoke more clearly on that. My fault.
Yeah, no. I know what you meant when you said dub, but when you said it, just said when you went to the. I'm like,
oh no. Yeah.
All right, cool, whatever. I know. What you mean. But let me just so I know. Maybe I didn't hear it. Maybe they didn't hear it. Let me see.
But she's going to the WNBA. I'm sorry. I just kind of short.
She's definitely going to the dub. And listen, the way the WNBA was last year, I can only imagine this year because this year's draft is strong too for the women. And when Juju comes out the year after, listen, the league is in trouble. The league is in trouble.
Belt to ass. Any shooting guard in that league, belt to ass.
Belt to ass. I know people were talking about Juju and saying, "Oh, we're giving her too much credit. She's not Caitlin Clark. And anything like that." We remember Maya Moore and a couple other people. Holzclaw again, who she's behind. And
you saw that list. You saw that that top 10 list, bro, where it was like, like Shamika,
the top 10 women,
like Caitlin Clark in the top 5. I love Stewie, but over Maya Moore over Shamika Holsclaw, who was killing for Pat Summitt at Tennessee.
Bruh.
Like we're losing recipes. Cynthia Cooper in UCLA. The fact that Cheryl Miller was anywhere beneath 3, and she
Bruh,
was
they
in
had
the
her
backcourt
10. I was like,
with the McGee sisters and Cynthia Cooper, bro. How the fuck how?
you talking
Bro,
about Cheryl Miller, aka probably one of the greatest women's players to ever play the
touch
game,
a ball.
to not be in the WNBA. Like, come on. Like one of the greatest college players ever. One of the greatest women's basketball players ever. One of the greatest basketball players ever. Like, to not be in a main league outside of NCAA.
Man,
that list was sick, and I'm glad we weren't recording when that list came out. Probably got canceled. Like, who the?
I ain't going front. I probably would have. Yeah, I probably would have went on one of those rants. like yeah. I probably would have went on Stephen A. Smith rants. Like, this is egregious. This is preposterous.
Right. Like, I'd have put the camera on you and let you go crazy, bro. Yeah,
because that list was nasty work having Caitlin Clark at in the top 3, and it's just like. And I see why Cheryl Swoops hate her. So it's like, listen,
Yeah, right. I see it now because it's not Caitlin's fault. It's not even Caitlin's fault.
It's not even her fault. Like, it's not even her fault. Yeah, y'all been waiting for the Great White Hope, and y'all had it for Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird for years. It's like, yo, like, you see this, this person come in and you giving her all this credit. Like, come on, man, you got to be better. We got to be better. We got to do better. Like, it's trash the fact that, like, yo, like, they doing it's a disservice to Caitlin, because even she'll tell you, like, yo, like, these girls are in front of me in terms of what they did. Like, we're talking about, like, them girls at the top, they won titles, championships. Not saying Caitlin didn't win in college, but it's like they won a lot more in terms of what Caitlin put in.
Right.
So it's crazy.
It's crazy, but we'll definitely touch.
We can revisit that.
We'll definitely revisit this episode, in the near future. But man, what did you think about this NBA season?
It's like a roller coaster, man, in terms of how the season's been. Obviously, much of the early part of the season has been in terms of the narratives around the style of play and the ratings being, where it was.
Right.
Then it was like, okay, this is Boston's, season to lose. And then it's like, okay, Joker is already the front runner for MVP for that first 20 or so games of the regular season. And then once you get towards, like, Christmas and January, things flipped, and then they do the All-Star game, and then, you knew how that turned out. We don't need to discuss that. And then, like, post that, when the game started heating up, you started to see some incredible performances. So it's just like the NBA it's been up and down this season, but it was a successful season. I did enjoy it. I will say this season, I've watched more basketball games that's not my own personal team.
Yeah.
This year, because of the fact that there are a lot of young teams that are just not waiting for that. Okay, when is it my turn to be great? I'm going to go out there and take it. Like, I've watched Orlando Magic just go out there and kill. The Houston Rockets are out there and kill.
It's us. Yep.
The Detroit Pistons, who we will be facing in round 1, like, they're out there doing their thing. Like,
Detroit.
Seeing like, stuff like that. It's just like seeing teams like that really go out there, and seeing Memphis kind of, come back and have a renaissance season before Taylor Jenkins got fired. Like, the Lakers getting Luka, like, we didn't see that coming from
nobody saw that coming.
No one saw that coming. And then the Suns being completely ass after such high expectations.
Oh my goodness. Terrible.
It's a lot. And then, of course, you look at Jimmy Butler, with the Saga leaving Miami, from going to Miami to Golden State. And now they're in a position where they have to fight for their lives to kind of stay in the playoffs by, going to a play-in game. The Clippers, Kawhi, who missed a good chunk of the season, and then having him come back and leading this Clippers team to a top seed where it's like top 6 seed where they'll be facing Denver in the first round for the first time since 2020. No, last year they faced up against you last year.
I think so. Yeah.
No. Excuse me. They faced Dallas last year. It's been the first time they've seen each other probably since the bubble, where Stan would like to always say Doc Rivers blew the 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
Where Jamal Murray, went off and Kawhi and PG scored 0 points in the fourth quarter. They laid it on a playoff P, and now playoff P is vacation P because the Sixers ain't been. That's another thing. The
Cancun
Sixers,
P.
Cancun P. Like, you look at the Sixers, bro, and Embiid decided to be part of the Avengers when you damn well knew his knee wasn't healthy. For him to kind of get surgery again on his knee and having to lose weight because there's too much pressure on his knees. So it's just like it's crazy, man. The season I'd say it was up and down, but the narratives, the storylines, it kept you going. But for me, I check more so for the younger teams to see where the league is headed, and these younger teams, I like the fact that they're taking the fight to these experienced teams. And so
I do too. I think this season it started out slow, right? Because everybody in their mind said, well, Boston's going to win it again. Everybody saw the first NBA game and it's like, oh, Boston's going to play like this for the whole season, right? That was the first narrative that's put out. Second narrative, at least on the East, how's Doc Rivers going to coach this team of on the Milwaukee Bucks? How is he going to coach them, right? And he started out super slow, right, to the point where they were in last place, damn near, with Philadelphia.
They had double-digit wins, and I'm thinking they might not make it. And they picked it up more so than Philly, which was completely shocking. Like,
they definitely picked it up. They went from like 14th to damn 5th, to the 5th seed.
Hey Doc,
right?
I respect it, but the one thing you gotta do is beat Tyrese Halliburton in the playoffs. You got Giannis.
He probably won't, but and then what else on the East, right? Of course, the Miami saga that we were talking about at the beginning of the year, what was going to happen prior to the trade deadline. Jimmy wanted to go way before he was actually traded. And, Jimmy went to a destination. Miami got the piece back that they wanted. And Miami ended up finishing out the season in a good place. Me saying Miami finishing in the play-in is a good place is basically because we don't have the team. Right,
they were much of that season without Jimmy.
Right. Without Jimmy, we were in the play-in, right? And we just showed like, hey, we can hold it down without Jimmy Butler. Again, I would rather have Jimmy Butler, obviously, but Andrew Wiggins has been balling, so I can't really say anything.
He's a better fit because, especially at this time, because of what Miami needs, And I think, and because Pat Riley is. And people give Thibs shit for this. Pat Riley's the other side of the same coin. He's just in management, in terms of like having a certain DNA of what fits the culture of a team.
Right.
It's also to Pat's detriment too. But the same token, like he needed someone that can be for the team and handle, the responsibilities of what it needs to, where they need to go.
Right.
And Jimmy was kind of fed up because it got to a point. I'm pretty sure the relationship fractured when Pat came out and said, we don't talk about what we could have done. We just go out there and do it. So shut your mouth.
Right. And in theory, Pat is right about saying, hey, we don't talk about what we could have done. It's just the whole, NBA players we know are a little bit sensitive sometimes, right? And when you tell somebody to shut up, you're basically telling them to, oh, I can express my opinion. Bet I don't want to be here, but the writing was on the wall for Jimmy a while ago.
Between that and of course you're going to try to pay someone who's like north of he's in his mid-30s, like, and you're trying to give him a extension, further 5-year extension that will probably give him to 40. he'll be around 40 years old, and that kind of money, it's risky. Unless you're LeBron, Steph, or KD, there's a certain.
But even if they didn't give him the money, Jimmy Butler has been asking for help for years.
But that again, we spoke on this before too, and I did say like Pat is also the issue because Pat's becoming the very same thing that he fought against when he was with the Lakers.
Right.
And now he's in a position where like he has to figure out like how to basically recoup that. Now, if I'm Pat, there's one major remedy I would say. And I think certain people have been saying it. If they are going the route of Chris Quinn being groomed to be the next person on that bench, I would move Spo to management. And Pat can still be an advisor. We're not removing Pat at all. Pat can still be an advisor while Spo picks up the remains from Pat's role and provide a much younger voice to players that want to come to Miami. Because who doesn't want to be in Miami 365?
No, nobody wants. You go to Miami. It's a beautiful place to live. There's no state taxes.
None.
You have a team that's literally has a winning culture, and despite what anybody says, Miami has a winning culture. Heat culture is a real thing. Yeah, heat culture is not going anywhere. Right? Dwayne Wade said this on his podcast not too long ago, that if you want to know what proper like stability is, you go to Miami.
Go to Miami.
A lot of other places don't have that. A lot of other places don't have a foundation, a strong foundation. A lot of people are just like, whatever. Miami's built from the old school.
Dallas is completely fractured.
Right. And that was another story that we're getting to. The Luka trade. Right. The Luka trade, which shocked the whole season where everybody didn't believe it was real, but it came out to being real. And in all honesty, like I said, it is really helped out the Lakers a bunch right now, and it will help out the Lakers a bunch in the future as long as they do the right thing by Luka and add pieces around him that want to be there. Right.
Wow.
And then we get into that. The end of the year bombshell. Yeah. The end of the year, the forecasted that we forecasted a while ago.
It's crazy how it came to fruition. It's so crazy.
Where now Mike Malone was fired from Denver at the end of the season. And so was the owner, right?
No, it was the owner. It was the GM.
The GM. Booth. So it was the GM, Calvin Booth. So, and it's coming out, the players are not happy, this, that, and third. Listen.
Denver enjoyed Joker for another 2 years because right after that boy gone.
Yeah, he out of here.
Because it's great. Because, Nico, Dallas fans are going to hate Nico forever because what he did is set up the Lakers for the next 5 to 7 years. Because what's going to happen in 2 years? LeBron be like, all right, man, we had our best chance at the championship, whether they win this year or next year or not. I'm done. I did everything I could. 2027, it's over.
Cool.
And then in comes Joker from free agency. And that's what you're giving the Lakers? Yeah, it's slow for the league if you let that happen. It's slow.
Yeah, that's nasty.
It's slow. Nasty. You give Luka Joker like
right.
All you need is some athletic wings and some shooters off the bench, and you are straight. They don't need much.
They don't need much. And then the other topic of the MVP discussion, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander going nuts on the West, and just he's proven that, hey, we're a young team, but this wasn't a fluke. We are the best team in the league. And then the other side of the coin, Minnesota, going downwards. When Cat got traded, a lot of us were thinking, all right, well, this opens up the floor a little bit more. And it really just made everything a lot worse in Minnesota.
You know what's crazy? Despite losing Cat, they only lost. Their drop off is what? They're 49-32. They're almost 150 games. So it's just like their drop off is like 3 or 4 games from last season.
Yeah,
and they started off slow. They finished strong, but they started like I got to give them credit. Like even after the Cat trade, part of that was because they tried to get the team healthy, and Randall wasn't healthy much of the season as well as DiVincenzo. And Ant's been Ant the entire season, depending on which baby mama he wants to impregnate. So it's just like they got it together, and now they have a matchup with LA. So
yeah, I think that's going to be. I really think that's going to be a good matchup. And shout out again to the Lakers for not being a play-in team and actually holding down a spot. Because the Lakers have been, it's the first time since the bubble that they've actually been in the playoffs. They've been a top 6 seed, and actually held down the seed. They were in second for a while, but you know the way the West Coast works.
It's the Wild West. It's the Wild West.
You have, because the thing about it is, I'm looking at the standings. You have 3 teams with 50 wins in the West: the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Clippers, right, and the Rockets with 52 wins. Right. So the Thunder, of course, almost won 70 games. They have 68. They went 68-14.
God. Yeah, right. That's an all-time. That's a record for that franchise. Not Seattle, because people want to give it to Seattle. No, Seattle. Let OKC have theirs. Like,
well, Seattle records still they still count them for Oklahoma City. So
no, it's not like the Thunder are going to retire Gary Payton's jersey or Sean Kemp's jersey. No,
but all in all, if I had to get a grade to this NBA season, I'm gonna give it a solid B.
Same.
Give it a solid B. I think there was enough storylines to go around. I think the first half of the season, basketball wasn't as good as I think a lot of people wanted it to be. I think the All-Star break kind of soured a lot of people's too.
Oh yeah,
and also the play-in tournament soured a whole bunch of more people too as well. So to have 2 special events in the middle of the season, in the midst of the season, just be terrible, and then teams just not playing up to par, everybody getting injured, and a whole bunch of other stuff. This turned out to be a pretty fairly good season. So definitely, I think a B is the grade I would go with this. And I think the playoffs are gonna be insane.
I go with that because now I go with that mostly because of the fact that, like, you know what's for me, what made it sour is the fact that the teams that you expect to uphold the momentum for an NBA season didn't necessarily pick up momentum until after February. Whereas the younger teams kept the momentum, but no one was giving them attention until like the major teams started getting their shit together. So it's one of those things. Is like, and I hate kind of like referencing wrestling. It's always like, you know, your mid card carrying the show when you know you ain't got no stars. You know, the main event stars like really doing their fair share, and when the main event stars give a shit, you know, that makes the whole quality of the show better, and that's pretty much how it looks for the NBA right now with how the regular season went, because it was like, you know, the way the season started, the Emirates Cup, you know, the way that, you know, shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks from winning, but they wanted certain teams to be in that, so they felt like the air was taken out, you know, and then of course guys being hurt, guys, you know, not prioritizing playing this and the third, you know, also played a factor, and of course Phoenix being a disappointment. You know, so many teams that they had expectations for becoming disappointments. But the same token, what helped salvage that was seeing these other teams that were not waiting for these teams to like get older and start coming down. They said, "Fuck it, I'm going to take your spot if you're not taking it seriously," like the Houston Rockets.
The Houston Rockets definitely did that.
So those are things that definitely help. And going into the playoffs, like I would agree with you too, man. I think the season's a B in terms of how the expectations was for the season. But I think overall, I think the playoffs would definitely give a nice jolt in the system in terms of fan interest.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, what series are you looking forward to the most?
Ooh. I'm not gonna hold you. If Orlando fucks up and says like, "All right, I'm gonna take number 8," and they face Cleveland round 1, I think they take Cleveland.
Cleveland go home. Cleveland going home
because
oh
they have zero answer for Paolo Banchero, and their wings are healthy. So it's like you got Paolo back, you got Paolo back, you got Franz back. They may not have, they might not have Jalen Suggs, who was a huge part of their team defensively. Like, people forget Orlando was top 4 before all they got hurt incrementally when they were 4th in the East. Before Franz got hurt, Paolo got hurt, and of course Jalen got hurt, and Mo Wagner tore his ACL. Like, they were pretty much like they were giving young YN energy the entire season before the Pistons usurped them. And seeing how Detroit kind of came out as well, I'm not because it's the Knicks going against them, but because of how much turnover and how much JB Bickerstaff from leaving Cleveland and just going to Detroit, galvanizing them from where they were last year to this year. So it's a lot of good stuff going around. Out west, I am looking forward to the Clippers, and I'm looking forward to the Clippers and the Nuggets. I'm interested to seeing if OKC can get Golden State. That will be a very good series. And if Ja could somehow win the play-in and get to Houston, that would be a good series too, because you get Jalen Green, who's much younger, against Ja, who's still young, but he's not as young as his previous playoff years, and this would be a good test for them. But yeah, man, those are some playoff matchups I'm really, really ready and excited to see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the Knicks in Detroit. Honestly, the reason for that, right? Everybody knows I haven't been a really real Knicks fan since Carmelo Anthony left the Knicks, right? My own personal issues with the Knicks for reasons. They're valid reasons too. So
you could take it up with Phil Jackson and Glenn Grunwald. Those are the two people that fucked up Melo's tenure here.
They sure did. And fucked up my tenure too. So
yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the Knicks. I've been watching the Knicks the past couple of years. Again, as much as I troll with the Knicks and everything like that, the Knicks is a really good team that I think sometimes they don't get enough credit for how good that they are.
They don't.
Because everybody's expectations of the Knicks have kind of just went out the window. Everybody expects, well, the Knicks are going to nick, right? That's the thing. The Knicks are going to nick. But this Detroit series, they're matched up pretty well against Detroit on their side, but Detroit is matched up pretty well against them as well. Because Detroit doesn't have the same outside shooting threat that New York has, but they play the same defense as New York. They play with the same intensity, if not more, right? And I say a little bit more because this team always fighting somebody. AKA Isaiah Stewart is always fighting somebody.
Oh no, listen, right? Beef Stew is definitely gonna get into the skirmish with one of our players. And
absolutely,
this is where I miss Dante, because Dante got a spirit of a black dude. He'll fight anybody.
Yeah, Dante will fight everybody.
Dante will fight anybody.
But I'm looking forward to this matchup to see if the Knicks can push past Detroit. Then they have to keep that same level of intensity against Boston if Boston gets past the 7th seed. And I do say if, because Boston has had some trouble in the past with lower ranked teams that actually match up pretty well against them.
I don't think Jalen's fully okay. So when it comes to this series, I don't think Jaylen Brown's fully healthy, because watching him against the Knicks a couple nights ago, you can tell his knee has been bothering him. It's a brand new injury, so I'm pretty sure he's not going to be 100% going into the playoffs, but he's got to walk in with it because you got to defend your title. As for the Knicks, I'll say this, because I know Pete made some points in terms of Thibs, and I just want to put this Thibs thing to bed.
Okay.
All right. Since 2020, since Thibs become a head coach of the New York Knicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, certain players lead the league in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Been the minutes have never been a reason why the certain injuries happen. Some things have been flukes. The injury, the Randall injury wasn't because of the amount of minutes he played. It's because like he couldn't brace his fall when he went against Jaime Jaquez last year. OG was a freak injury because like he was cooking the Pacers last year, and and I will die on the hill by saying if OG don't get hurt, we dust the Pacers in 5 and go against Boston. Mitchell Robinson got hurt because Joel Embiid pulled his leg down and fell on it.
Yep.
So, and then going into this year, like Cat had jumper's knee. I don't think he's still fully healed from his meniscus tear from last season. So, like, he's playing on that. Josh Hart, he got jumper's knee. That usually happens, with, always running in this and the third. And because the pace of the league is quickened, you're going to basically have more wear and tear no matter how much minutes you play. They don't practice as much as they used to. They have more off days as basketball players than when they used to. Because back in the day, is practice, practice, practice. Now, because of load management, you can go and do regular work, like individual work, but they don't practice as much because they feel that it interferes with load management. And Thibs gives them minutes because that's how you get your reps. Because if you don't get it in practice, where else are you going to get it?
Right.
That's one. Two, any realistic Knicks fan, not on Knicks Twitter, any realistic Knicks fan knew that post this trade when they made for Cat, you knew this was not going to be the team to basically be, the main contender for a championship. You need another cycle to do that. This year is more of a foundation core for what they hope in the near future. Like you got this core for starting lineup or core players of Mitch, Deuce, Cat, McHale, Brunson, OG. You got your top 6 guys locked in for for the foreseeable future for 2, 3, 4 years. Like you have this for a window. This is year 1 of that. Sure, when and I think I'm not comparing it to 2011 Miami, but when that Heat team got together that first year, or when Shaq got to Miami that first year, yes, championship is the goal.
You're talking about the 05, not 20. You said 2011.
No. Like, but it kind of similar when the 2011 with the big 3, when Shaq first got here in 2004. Okay. That first year, you need at least a year to figure out like what this team is going to do. And then if you realize you have some glaring deficiencies, whether it's a bench or this and the third, you'll make that in the next cycle because the way the cap is this year, we could have re-signed Isaiah Hartenstein in any other year with it if it wasn't for this cap. But because of the apron, we weren't able to retain that. And the reason why we made the trade for Cat was because Mitch wasn't ready for the season. Thank you, Joel Embiid. And we never really had our team until pretty much this month at full strength. So you don't know what this team is going to look like. Thankfully, they have a week off to figure it out, But I just want the Thibs talk to die down in terms of like this team can't do this, can't do that. You have to remember these factors play a role. And don't get me wrong, like there have been times where they could have done better with some of the parts that they do have, but they haven't had a whole team the entire season to even give you exactly what this team could possibly do. It's unfair.
I get you. I understand. I think the Thibs talk, I think it's a little 50-50. It's fair and unfair. I think there are sometimes, it looks a little crazy because of his track record, right?
Yeah.
But I also have to agree with you in the stance that the NBA is different, right? I feel like Thibs wouldn't overplay his players if they were actually practicing, right? If there's actually practice, I don't think Thibs would be playing his players as heavy minutes as he does. But I also said this too, where I don't feel the reason why I don't feel people play as much is because as a coach, you have to see what your players can do. And if your players are not showing you anything in practice, you're going to go with what you know, right? And it happens, right? It goes back to, again, practice and players not taking the game serious. It goes back to the players who've also made this culture the way it is now. Like old players blame the coaching and analytics about it. But if the players really, really, really wanted to practice,
they would practice.
The players would practice. The players would practice. But moving back to the playoffs, if I can get it back to the stage, there we go. The other matchup I'm actually looking forward to is I'm looking at Denver and the Clippers. And reason being, the Clippers don't got nothing for Joker. Clippers don't got nothing for Joker, right? But this is the first time in a while we've had a healthy Kawhi in the playoffs.
How long has it been?
I don't know.
6 years since he won the championship?
So he's been healthy. Like, he's healthy in the playoffs. You have James Harden, who's had a renaissance. I don't expect James Harden to beat average 40, 10, and 10 like he used to, but James Harden has been good for the Clippers, right? Norman Powell has been good for the Clippers.
He's had a great season, man.
Right.
Like, shout out to him.
He's a great number 3. Yeah. And the pieces around him play well. But Denver is a whole different monster. And especially
Joker might play upset the whole postseason.
Yeah, Joker's probably
he gonna go crazy.
He's gonna go crazy, right? I also look forward to seeing the next round, where if Denver passes the Clippers, which I think is a high probability. I'm going to say like a good 85% that they pass them, right?
This is I have a feeling this is going 7.
It might go 7, but I think Russell Westbrook is the biggest factor. Not Joker, not James Harden, Kawhi. Russell Westbrook, and also what's his name? Jamal Murray are going to be the 2 biggest factors in this series.
Yes, they will.
Russell Westbrook, you don't need him to do more than what he's doing, right? Russell Westbrook could average 10, 5, and 5 in the series, and that would probably be enough for them, right? He's going to average more than that, obviously. And then Jamal Murray, right? Jamal Murray is really good when it comes to the playoffs, but he's also very injury prone as well.
I don't think he's 100% going into the playoffs either. So like that's another thing too. I wish. I mean, but then again, his conditioning and his commitment to the team has always been in question over the last couple of years, which is probably part of the reasons why Malone got fired too.
Right.
So I think it's Rick Adelman's son, who's coaching. Hopefully he might utilize some of the younger pieces like Christian Brown off the bench. You got Strother as well. I think he's going to use some of those pieces, those wing pieces, to kind of generate a lot of fast break offense within that second unit. But he's going to have to rely on veteran presence with Russ on that floor, because to Russ's credit, the last 2 postseasons he's been a part of, he's played well. So I can't put past history with Russ in terms of how he performs. You just end the third. He's performed well the last 2 postseasons against the Suns last year. And I think who did he face last year in the first round again? Against Dallas. He's had 2 back-to-back good postseasons. And in those series, he was probably, if not the only person to compete in those series. So, like, when Paul George was stinking up the joint and there was no Kawhi.
I mean, it's true. It is true.
So I gotta give Russ that respect. He's a future Hall of Famer. He's somebody that I do see like having that opportunity to do a lot more. I can't put it past him. But in terms of the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard hasn't had a healthy playoff since probably like the semifinals of 2021 against Utah. And James Harden is one person that like is going to be the X factor, because James can play well in the first, second round, but when the lights are brightest, will the real James Harden stand up, show up, and put a team on his back and take them over to the top? I mean, no one's expecting the Clippers going to be the champions, but like if you want to, shake the room a little bit, James Harden has to be that person to do it.
He's not. So he's not. But he's not. I'm not ever going to stay on that. So and one of the last series that I'm really interested in is that 1-8 matchup, right? Whoever goes against Cleveland. I've been saying this for the whole year. I've been saying this as long as Donovan Mitchell has been in Cleveland. Cleveland is the 2010s version of the Utah Jazz in the Eastern Conference, right? They are the same. They are built the same.
You've been saying that. You've been saying that for a while now.
They're built the same exact way. 2 small guards in the backcourt, a monster defensive player in the middle, and everything else in between, right? They have the same exact pieces. They have the same exact pieces. The problem is the same thing that their problem has always been: inconsistent. But that's also the Celtics' problem as well.
I think it's different for Cleveland this time around because of the fact that the wing depth that they have and the depth of their bench has really stepped up this year. Ty Jerome has stepped up a lot more this year. They picked up DeAndre Hunter, which I felt was a trade deadline steal.
It was.
I don't know how Atlanta let that go, but I guess they got to make room for Zachary Richardson, to become the new guy. I guess. Terrible. But it's crazy because with the play-in tournament being this week, Atlanta might be number 8 right now. They could be 7. They could be very well out of the playoffs or playing altogether because for whatever reason, I'm feeling the fact that Chicago might fuck around and get that 8th seed.
You know what? And as a Miami Heat fan, I feel the same way. The way Chicago has been playing, they've been sneaky good. They've been real sneaky good.
They were not supposed to be here. I'm like, yo, how many times has the Bulls been in the goddamn play-in since the play-in tournament been a thing? You talking about the Lakers? Chicago live in the play-in.
But somebody said the play-in is the DeMar DeRozan Invitational. Yeah.
Or the Jonas Valanciunas. He said another one too.
Yeah. DeMar DeRozan again. The Kings in the play-in. You know that team? Who on that team? DeMar DeRozan.
And Jonas, he's there too, which is crazy.
Yep. They all the Chicago's in Sacktown.
It's crazy, and they're reunited too because they were in Toronto together, which is crazy. Because it
is crazy.
I think I have a crazy scenario because it's there's a world where Chicago makes the 8th seed, and because there's no guard on that team that can guard Josh Giddey. As much as Evan Mobley is great defensively, as great as Jaren Allen is good as a runner, off the pick and roll, they don't have an answer for Vucevic's physicality down in the paint. The Cavs bigs do not like physicality.
They don't.
Even though we lost the game against them, Friday night against Cleveland in our final home game of the season, Mitchell Robinson played that game, and they still wanted no smoke with Mitch. So I'm like. Yeah. So that gave me enough to think to myself, okay, you guys are still, I wouldn't say, you guys grew up a little bit, but you guys are still beatable. It's just a matter of, the matchups and the right kind of combinations to kind of get that situation. So it's Atlanta could be a team that they face in the playoffs. Not Atlanta. Atlanta could be one of those teams. I wish Miami had a point guard because if they had a point guard, I would have been okay in terms of them making that 8th seed and kind of making things interesting with Cleveland. But Miami, and I told you this before, Dre, they need a point guard.
You know what? And you know whose fault that is? It's Pat Riley.
It's Pat Riley. Pat Riley the fact that in the Jimmy Butler trade, you don't.
I thought Terry Rozier was going to be enough. Y'all really thought people really thought Terry Rozier was
not
be
not
enough?
even that. Like you had an opportunity to go out and get a Tyus Jones who was in purgatory with the Suns to do something.
He was just sitting there. They could have got him before the season started, man.
That's Pat Riley. Pat has like if you had a steady guard like Tyus Jones, I don't think Jimmy leaves. And if you make a move to get a decent wing, and let's say you're in position to get DeAndre Hunter, Miami not only would not be in the play-in right now, they'd probably be facing us in the first round. This season is on Pat Riley being Pat Riley.
Right. Jimmy Butler has a part to play in it in the blame pie, but goddamn Pat Riley.
No. It's on Pat.
It's on Pat. But
it's on Pat.
Moving on from that, Ja Morant can't seem to keep the guns out his hands, right? And we're not talking about the real guns, right? I don't care what he do. I don't care what he do on his own time.
I don't think that's nitpicking, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
I do think it's nitpicking, right?
They try to Kyrie him.
The NBA has fined him twice already about his gun celebrations, and to the point where now he does a grenade toss celebration, which he says is not a grenade toss celebration. It's him throwing his words into the crowd and covering his ears, right? Cool. Here's my thing. NBA. You know how many people throw their guns up when they shoot a three, right? And
there's a couple on my team. There's a couple that do it on this team. Yeah. So.
Right? Right. All of this, right? And there's a bunch of players that do it. Even the glorious King James does this as well from time to time, right?
They all do it.
Everybody does it. The only reason why you picking at Ja is because y'all think him doing the gun thing is him trying to be like, oh, well, I can't. Y'all think I'm be do all this gun stuff. I'm gonna really do the gun stuff for real in the NBA. No, leave him alone. Leave Ja Morant alone. Leave Ja Morant alone. Ja Morant, you're not doing yourself any favors making yourself a target either. But at the same time, I think the NBA is also. I think the NBA is also picking at him because, like, you're trying to set an example, but there's no reason to set an example. People have been doing the gun celebration for a very long time now. Just because Ja had his issues with guns does not mean he should not be allowed to do a celebration that is been around forever. Like, come on, NBA, y'all got to do better.
Like, I'm gonna put a pin on this because I know we do got to move on, but it's just like with Ja, it's like. Remember when like David Stern was basically nitpicking at Iverson for every little thing he was doing at one point in time?
For everything.
Like when he came out with the 400 Joules album, like back in the, when he came out with the rap album, and Stern was like, "You are not releasing this music at all," like, and just censoring the dude. I'm like, "Yo, man, you let Shaq have an album and that went platinum. Like, why can't Allen Iverson do it? Like, you let Kobe do that whack ass rapping in Italian, and I love Kobe, God rest the dead, but
that's all he's doing.
That's all he's doing. And it's like having Tyra Banks in the video and shit, and you can't let Allen Iverson just have an album for the hood.
Yo, Kobe had like 3 songs. Kobe was on
he had like 3 songs.
He had a couple songs. C. Webb had a song. Ron Artest had a song.
Ron Artest had a song. He had a record label too.
He had a record label too.
See what? Like, I was like, yo, like you ain't say. Nah. The NBA did say shit to C. Webb because C. Webb was a troublemaker too. Like, I definitely forgot about that because that's what led C. Webb going to Sacramento in the first place. They sent the nigga to purgatory, but they ended up a couple years later, Western Conference Finals. They got screwed, but
That's what happened. Like, oh damn, you turned purgatory into heaven. Well, let's fix that.
That's what happened. Like, yo, they bullying Ja, man. Like, I think like it's nothing. I know the NBA has a lot of corporate sponsors, and I know like they look at the gun violence or whatever a certain way, and Ja earlier with the gun shit. He's just having fun on the court. It's the first season where he's not legitimately hurt or have any like lingering injuries that keep him out for a while or suspended because he's being a YN. I would say Ja's been on a relatively good behavior this year.
Absolutely.
he's playing hard for the Grizzlies, and the fact that he's been dragged through the mud because of the taunts and the fact that his coach got fired. Like, I think it's just unfair for what's going on in the narrative around him. Because the kids look up to Ja, and I think Ja's going out there just to hoop and have a good time. Like, you're playing basketball, it's entertainment. I get it. It's a corporate business. You guys sell to the corporate guys that want to come watch basketball and spend money at it. But these players go out there to play because they grew up as hoopers. T. Morant, who played with Ray Allen, raised his son to play the game that he loved growing up, and he's making true of that mission and stuff like that. And you don't want to nitpick a guy who all he wants to do is go out there and play ball the way he wants to play.
I agree. Don't take the joy away from the game, because that's what we're missing. I get so upset with the NBA about them teching every single thing that they do now. Like, everything is a tech all of a sudden. Like, Luka got a tech for talking back to a fan the other night when the Lakers were about to beat OKC again. Right?
What did David Ruffin tell Otis? To these refs? Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Right.
Is David Ruffin in the Temptations?
Right. It was.
I write the hit records.
Yeah. It is terrible, right? It is terrible. I hate that they're taking the joy out the game. Like, I get it. Excessive taunting is excessive taunting, right? Like let's say Giannis, right? Giannis blocked Beasley the other night.
That was funny.
And then hooped in front of him, right? You ain't call no tech. Y'all ain't call no tech for that.
Y'all ain't call no tech. They pick and choose.
Call no tech for that. Right. Y'all picking and choosing, bro. Like,
they picked because Giannis is the money. Because if Luka was the money, they wouldn't have done that.
Right. They don't want Luka to be the money, but they see it coming.
Don't.
They see it coming. They're trying to stop
it. They don't. Because he's already on the Lakers. Like, when you're on the most popular team, I'm not saying best, popular team by brand.
Yep.
That money's gonna flow. Like, they bullying Ja, man. Ja, just hoop, have a great playoffs, man. Ideally, I want you guys to face Houston because I think that matchup would go dope. Because I need that young team, fast pace. It's gonna be fast paced. It's gonna be smash mouth, and I want to see Dylan the villain, the villain back in Memphis. That's why.
I hate that it's.
I want that series.
Oh, wait, that's 7 versus 8, right?
Yeah, 7 versus 8. Houston's 2.
Which is what that's Grizzlies versus
OKC.
No. Right now in the
it's Grizzlies Golden State.
Grizzlies Golden State, right? Okay, right. Golden State could lose this game, right?
Remember what I said before the show,
right? They're gonna beat those other two teams for sure, right? Especially Sacramento. Sacramento is not what it is.
Not this year. Not this year.
They don't got nothing for Steph Curry, but
Sac beat them last year, but not this year.
Not this year. But what did you think about the firing of Mike Malone? We touched on it, but we didn't really deep dive into it.
I think they peaked in terms of the coach, and I don't think it's the coach's fault. And it kind of falls in line with what I said earlier about the Knicks in terms of them not retaining Hartenstein. It's because of how the recent collective bargaining agreement with the NBA and the NBA PA. In terms of the apron, that apron where teams have a certain amount of money to spend for a team.
Yeah.
It's become increasingly difficult to maintain certain talents. But then again, Denver's also been a team even before the apron became a thing where they usually don't pay players. Right. And as you can see, Miami with Jimmy Butler. There's certain markets that even before the whole apron thing took place.
Yeah, those markets like, don't worry about it. It's like, don't worry about it. We need to go nowhere near it.
That's why the Grubex sold the Celtics, because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna pay everybody else now, and then sell the team when I can at record price,
and let them pay. Let them pay them,
and let them pay. And then you see see how it's working for Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. The niggas ain't making the playoffs, and Book and KD might be out the door, not just one or the other. And then when Bradley Beal's like, you know what, I could waive my trade clause and go to Golden State for Buddy Hield and some picks. Like type shit.
I can see myself in Golden State. Golden State gonna be like, no, we can't see you here.
I said, nah, we can't see you here, man, because you got that trade clause. Fuck that. Yeah. you're gonna have to waive that.
Yo, the one thing about a trade clause, and I think somebody said this on, I think someone on Gil's Arena said this. It was probably Rashad McCants, and it makes sense. No, it was Kenyon Martin.
Cemetery Larry.
No. It was Kenyon Martin.
Or Debo.
He said this: if you waive your no trade clause to go to a different team, that should be it. You shouldn't have a no trade clause for your entirety of your contract.
He's right. But because of the fact that if they trade him again, he's still on the Wizards contract, which is why the clause exists. If it was a different contract, I'm sure they probably wouldn't have put that clause in. But because he's still with the Wizards contract, that clause is still in because you're only just trading contracts. Yeah. You may be trading salaries, but you're also trading the contracts. So it's
yeah, I agree with you with that. I know that, but I think that if they do it, they need the owners need to be a little bit better. Be like, hey, we'll give you a no trade clause, but then that's also a players union thing. That's not so much of a owner thing.
Yeah, that's yeah. It is definitely a players union thing. Like it's a union thing, but that's just hey. But but back to Malone, it's tough because like he won them a championship, and I know the moment he got fired, Nick's Twitter lit up. Is like, all right, I need Thibs lose in the first round so that we can hire Mike Malone. I'm like, okay, first of all, you want to hire for what? You want to hire basically virtually the same coach. The only difference is the fact that he might have a better offensive bag than Thibs. But he's worse in terms of he's more demanding. He barks at his players, and you already heard reports of the fact that some of his players didn't like the fact of how hard he was on them. Knick fans, be appreciative of what you have now, because before then we were eating shit for years. So if you don't like Thibs, too fucking bad. You're not getting Mike Malone. Like, unless something crazy happens, you're not getting Mike Malone. But even Mike Malone was great for Denver. He helped unlock Joker. He spent 10 years there. He was there from the beginning of Joker's, inception. Jamal Murray and those boys. He grew that program to where it is today. Hopefully, Ryan. Hopefully, Ryan Adelman will pick up the slack and continue that along the way. But the way the league of where a lot of these teams are going, they're picking these teams that that have had experience overseas. They're picking a lot of these coaches that went overseas, like the FIBA offense and like running like schemes like you would see in FIBA, run actual plays, which is why they kind of fired, Taylor Jenkins for the new coach that they got. So it's just like they want to basically. I think Silver saw how FIBA was and how they play the game and they run plays and is trying to bring that back to the NBA because the NBA has steered far away from what the game actually used to be.
Yep, that, and he also saw that the United States will probably lose this year. I mean, in 2028 in the Olympics.
They're losing in 2028.
Because that
I'm sorry.
Very
they better get ready for that.
Frenchman is really upset that he lost. He's really upset that he lost.
Unless you can convince Wemby to become a naturalized citizen, you got to lose it in 2028.
Hey, come to America, right? No. Wemby is going to be really upset. He's probably going to be built like Giannis at 7'3", 7 foot.
I don't want him to put that much muscle on because it's going to be bad for his joints. I want him to just get stronger. Period. Because it's like if he adds any more weight, you end up like I don't want that from Wemby.
Yeah, but if he adds weight, because how much does he weigh? He weighs like 220 something.
I mean, if he can get to somewhere around 225 and 230 without like basically looking like Giannis, I just want him to get stronger, not bigger in terms of physique, because it does take away from his mobility and fluidity in terms of his height. Because remember, he is 7'4".
He weighs 235. Okay.
All right, so I'd rather him stay there. I don't want him getting above or below that, because you want to make the fact like I want you to be strong so that you're able to kind of withstand a lot of the physicality depending on the matchups. But I want you to be good enough because the thing with most players, especially who come in small, a lot of them bulk up, but when they get to the twilight or like the prime of their careers, they start cutting weight so they can maintain mobility, flexibility in order to basically enhance their performance. I don't want that for Wemby. I want Wemby to kind of continue the course, the natural course of where he's at, and he'll be fine. But the U.S. ain't winning shit in 2028. People can call me anti-American. It's not about being me anti-American. It's more so like realizing the fact that America's not the only fucking country in the world that has basketball talent. The world has gotten better. Get used to it. Right. America ain't the only blip on the planet.
Right. All right. Well, to wrap this up, we're gonna do the prediction for the play-in, and then we'll come back and give the prediction for the first round on socials. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, for the play-in tournament, on the Western Conference, we have the 9-10 matchup, the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks, and the 7-8 matchup, which is the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. The way the play-in works, ladies and gentlemen, is the winner of the 7-8 matchup is automatically the 7th seed, right? The winner of the 9-10 matchup faces the loser of the 7-8 matchup. So if Golden State loses to Memphis, they will face the winner of the 9-10, 9 versus 10 game. The loser of the 9-10 game goes home to Cancun, wherever Philadelphia is at, all of that. And then on the Eastern Conference, the 9-10 matchup is the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat, and the 7-8 matchup is the Orlando Magic versus the Atlanta Hawks.
I really hate the play-in for y'all though. I really do.
Oh yeah, I hate the play-in for us too. But we're gonna start on the Western Conference.
That should be in the top 6, bro. Like that hurt me as a fan of the game.
Nah, we bad this year. Detroit played this year. Detroit played.
I mean, listen, because coaching matters. Coaching matters. Coaching matters.
So the 9-10 matchup. Who do you think is winning the 9-10 matchup?
I got Dallas winning. I got Dallas winning, and I got Dallas and Golden State.
Okay. And then who? We got Dallas and Golden State,
which means I got Memphis winning the 7th seed.
Okay, Memphis winning the 7th seed, and then who goes on to be the 8th seed then out of Dallas and Golden State?
No, Golden State's gonna win that one. Golden State got too much. The only reason why I say Dallas got the 9 seed locked up, to face Golden State, is because one, AD is going to be playing. Najee Marshall is a really good player, and
he is.
I think Clay wants to at least play one more game, and if he plays it against his former team, listen again. This is why I'm saying this. This is like, it makes so much sense because it's like, if the Warriors feel like they can beat OKC in round 1 and they can take care of Dallas, they'll take that route if it means if that's their way to get to the finals. Clay, is probably going to have one of those games against the Kings. AD is probably going to be a monster unless Sabonis decides to be like, fuck that, I'm going to baby you again when he was on the Lakers. But Najee Marshall's been a very good piece. They got their bigs back. They got Derek Lively back. They got Gafford. So the only person they're missing is Kyrie. They don't have a point guard. That probably would have been a difference in it. But I think, there'll be too much for Sacramento. And but Golden State, because of Steph and Jimmy Butler, it's gonna be a matchup, but it's gonna be a tougher one because it's gonna be a tough one mostly because of the fact that Dallas beat them last time they faced off, so they owe them one.
Whole different team, though.
No. It's a whole different team. But this is when Kyrie went down. They beat him without Kyrie, so they owe them one.
They ain't beat him without Luka. They ain't beat him without Luka.
That's something different.
That's something different.
That's something different.
What you got going on the East?
Again, I hate that. I hate it for you guys because you guys should be in the top 6.
We should.
But the Giddler is sending y'all home.
He needs to be arrested. That's what he needs to be.
Like the Giddler sending y'all home, and I hate that for y'all because all I need is a point guard.
Bro, they need to go get him. Somebody need to go get Josh Giddey for sure. Go get him and send him to the jail he need to be in.
like the Giddler sending y'all home. Kobe White's been picking it up lately, so I got the Bulls picking up the win. Atlanta, despite the fact that Atlanta got, they got a lot. I got Orlando's keeping the 7th spot. They'll be facing off against whatchamacallit, Boston in round 1. Because they're not gonna play with their food. If they manage to get 8, they can beat Cleveland. I think they could beat Cleveland, but they're gonna give Boston a run for their money because their wings are gonna be too much and Jaylen Brown's not healthy. So I got Orlando beating Atlanta, and they got home court advantage in the play-in, so they're good. All they need to do is win 1. Atlanta has to play 2 just to win 1. And Chicago is more hungry because Josh Giddey's been playing some of his best basketball the back half of the season. And he's starting to feel comfortable within the offense once they made that trade, trading away Zach LaVine away. And I think they finally found that rhythm. Kevin Huerter's been a very good pickup. And
Kevin Huerter was a great pickup.
And with the way Giddey's been empowering, the young boy, Matas Buzelis, they have done a great job in, really just playing with house money and giving Nikola Vucevic a lease on life just to do what he wants to do. Average.
The damn international kids going crazy.
17 and 10, every night. So you have that. It'll be too much for Atlanta. And as good as Trae Young is when the lights are on, I'll give this to Trae Young. When lights are bright, that motherfucker shows up. He gonna give you some fits. He may not win a lot, but he will make sure you feel it on the way out.
Especially at the Garden.
Yeah, which is why the Giddler's packing his bitch ass home.
yeah, y'all need him to because don't let him get to y'all. Y'all go home for sure.
He won't get to us because ain't no way.
If y'all ever get to the first seed and he ain't playing and he make it to y'all, like, well, 8 beating the number 1 again. Here we go.
Fuck no, because my 11's better than my 11 is better than Atlanta's 11, so we good. I'm riding with Jalen Brunson.
Y'all 11 better than their 11, but they're 1 versus y'all 1. And I like Jalen Brunson a lot. I don't know, but Jalen Brunson. You remember the NBA players used to guard each other, man? You remember that? So imagine they were guarding each other. Yeah, that would be a matchup to fucking watch. But I think what's the name would be in foul trouble. Trae Young would be in foul trouble.
Trae too small in the paint. like Brunson a little more stocky.
Brunson too slow to keep up with Trae. He
may be slow
half court every time.
He may be slow to keep up with Trae, but you can't stop him on the other end either. Like he'll take you down to the paint.
That's true.
But Atlanta, like as much as Atlanta could have an opportunity to get in and get a win, I got Chicago because Josh Giddey is a 6'8" point guard who really is empowering his teammates to do great things, and Kobe White can shoot the hell out of that thing. So I got them facing Cleveland round 1. So that's my predictions on that.
Right. for the winner of the 7-8, I think Golden State beats becomes the 7th seed and goes against the Rockets, and then I also think Dallas faces Memphis. Do you think Dallas faces Memphis? That's the matchup I kind of want to see.
If they do
Triple J versus Anthony Davis.
I ain't gonna lie to you. If Memphis faces Dallas, there's a good chance Dallas might beat them and take the A spot.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. Right, Dallas can match up with Oklahoma City Thunder big wise if I don't know if the rest of their bigs are healthy. That might not be a good matchup for them either. Then
no, Gafford and Lively are playing. They're playing.
They're playing.
They're good. They're healthy. They're good.
I haven't seen their last games. I'm not
gonna
lie to you.
Which is why I say like there's a high chance of fact that like if Dallas gets Memphis, they're losing. Memphis is losing.
Yeah. So I think the eighth seed is going to be Dallas. The 7th seed is going to be very likely Golden State. Golden State is making it in it. Right. Golden State.
So like yeah, Steph and Brown can't stay. Steph and Brown can't keep away from each other.
They can't, because if they are in the 7th seed, right? And they happen to beat Houston, which is not going to happen, but they happen to beat Houston, and the Lakers do their job against Minnesota.
It's them in round 1 and round 2.
Yep, it's them in round 2. That's the matchup everybody want to see. That's the matchup everybody want to see. Damn, I get Jimmy Butler versus LeBron again. Oh my God! Oh, I can't win, man.
The script is scripting.
It's scripting. On the East side, I see Orlando facing the Celtics for sure, and giving the Celtics a fit. So Orlando's going to be the 7th seed. I think I'm going to be biased, right? Miami has the squad to beat Chicago. They don't have the point guard because Josh Giddey is just going to go crazy. But Josh Giddey is also an inconsistent shooter. And if Miami forces Josh Giddey just to shoot,
you have a chance.
We have a chance, right? We also need Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero to play like the money that they've been paid. Yeah, right. I'm not worried about Bam Adebayo because there's no Jimmy Butler there, so he knows he has to actually play in the playoffs now.
Oh right?
Yeah. Andrew Wiggins, he has been playoff tested. He is a champion, and contrary to what a lot of people will say, Andrew Wiggins was a big part of the reason why the Warriors won the championship the last time around.
Not just Jordan Poole.
not just Jordan Poole. Like
I'm interested in seeing how Khalil Ware does. Like I'm very fascinated.
Yeah. Because Vucevic ain't gonna have shit for that. You got to deal with Bam and fucking Khalil Ware. Yeah, at the same time in some map.
That's gonna be a fun game because I think Chicago got home court, right?
Yep. Chicago has home court. But and then I see Chicago beating Atlanta and becoming the 8th seed. That's where I think the fun starts right there, where you get Chicago and Cleveland.
Imagine if the Giddler takes one in Cleveland.
Boy, y'all not gonna hear the end. I'm be like, I told y'all. Donovan Mitchell is not it.
Yeah,
I like that. I really, really like Donovan Mitchell.
I like Spider too.
Really like Spider.
He sacrificed a lot for them to get to them wins this season, though. That's the only reason why.
He came to New York. His ass should have came to New York.
Yeah, but whatever happened. And then we ended up with the bodega. So,
right, you guys ended up, well off anyway. It worked out for both teams, right? I really want to see y'all two face each other. Honestly, I really want to see the Knicks and the Cavs face each other again, but the Knicks again have to get past Detroit.
I gotta see how. We'll get past Detroit. It's not going to be easy. We're going to be limping into Boston. I will guarantee
Absolutely. And Boston is going to be limping as well if they get past Orlando.
I mean, they're limping literally right now because Jaylen Brown ain't, his knee has been, acting up. So like, if they're already limping into the playoffs, and Orlando sees that, they have no answer for Paolo.
Yeah, Jason Tatum will play defense. And contrary to what people think,
Jason Tatum he's gonna have to prove the fact that he's Kobe in his mind and carry that Celtics team. Because Horford is not going to be healthy. No. But if Jaylen Brown is not healthy with the knee going into the playoffs, he's going to need to do more going into the playoffs if they face Orlando. But for me, like, if Chicago ends up as an 8th seed and they might take a couple games from the Cavs.
Yeah, and the Cavs are not going to have an easy time either.
Because Garland and Mitchell are not gonna. I want to know how they would be able to guard Josh Giddey. It's gonna be difficult, and that Bulls team's gonna be playing with house money. So, hey, it's gonna be fun.
I think the best playoff matchup in general is going to be the 4-5 in the East with the Pacers and Milwaukee. That's going to be the best playoff.
Giannis is gonna go crazy.
Yeah, Giannis is going to go nuts, but they have no answer for Tyrese Halliburton and everybody else over there. Ain't no Drew Holiday over there to protect out there.
I wish it's crazy because last year it was Dame that played that series by himself, and now it's Giannis by himself. But it sucks what happened to Dame though, man. I hope Dame feels better. But the only reason why it's different is because like Kevin Porter Jr. can definitely be a good. He can definitely help out offensively because he's closed out the season very well. So
yeah,
I can definitely see KPJ like going crazy against.
But
Indiana.
Look at it like this, right? Remember who initially was coaching Giannis, right? Jason Kidd.
Yeah.
Giannis averages a good number of assists for his career. And Giannis is a consistent triple-double threat, right?
Yes.
KPJ on the outside is ready to shoot. Brook outside ready to shoot, and everybody else. They're going to have to double-team Giannis. Nobody, not Pascal Siakam, not Miles Turner, they're not guarding Giannis one-on-one. None of them. And I just named 2 really good defenders. They're not guarding Giannis one-on-one. Right, so you have to double team him. If you double team him, you're leaving somebody open, and whoever you're leaving open, because Bobby Portis is playing again too. He's off of suspension. So whoever you're leaving open is going to shoot the ball. Is going to shoot it, and they're probably going to make it. So we gotta watch that. But
that's another series that can go 7.
That's definitely a series that can go 7. But that is all the time we have on the Run the Break podcast. Follow us on all social media platforms at Run the Break. Follow me at The Wise Brother on all social media platforms. Follow my brother Randy at all social media platforms. His name is King. It may have a underscore in it. It may not. on
like I think only on Twitter is like 2 or 3 underscores. On Instagram is just 1.
Follow his brand Backstage Brawl on every Sunday, except next Sunday because they will be recording on Saturday for WrestleMania.
I'm only doing night 1. I ain't doing 2 nights. I ain't doing 2 nights because it's like I'm competing with the playoffs and WrestleMania the same weekend, bro. My house that whole day is gonna be busy for me, man.
Bro,
my phone's gonna be on do not disturb until I stream.
Listen,
especially after that first playoff game.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna have to be. Once again, follow me at The Wise Brother on everything. Follow my team Prolific at Prolific_BQE. Follow the Your Sports Show at Your Sports Show, where you can find everything Your Sports Show related, and the rest of our shows with returning show, The Dog Days of Baseball, our current banger of a show, Tavius Tea Time.
That's been good.
Tavis Tea Time's been really good, especially that last episode when they were live talking about step parents. Definitely.
Look at Matt being vulnerable.
Listen, let me tell you something about BK Matt, Mr. Hennessy, and I'm not going to finish the rest of the name that he likes to be called, right?
Oh, y'all getting bored.
Yes, that's him, Big Bobby. But let me tell you something about Matt. When Matt want to talk about something, he's going to talk about it.
What are you going to talk
about? His heart going to be in it, right? His heart is going to be in it. Especially when it comes to talking about kids and his life and his love life. Matt's going through a whole lot. So he's like, listen, and here's how I see it. And Tay as well. Tay's been through a whole lot too. So, shout out to them for both. I call them the crash out kids. And they named themselves that actually. And I was like, yeah, that's both of them, because if you watch the early episodes of the Your Sports Show, you would know why. but salutes to both of them being very vulnerable and speaking about the topics that they speak about. They've both been through a lot in their lives, and they choose to share it with everybody, good, bad, or indifferent. So shout out to them, and yeah, definitely shout out to them. And I love the direction Tavius Tea Time is going, for sure. I love the direction all the shows are going, even the shows not on my network. Love seeing Backstage Brawl, the growth in Backstage Brawl. I think I spoke to you about it like last year.
Yes, sir.
Backstage Brawl has maybe about 5 years ahead of how many years you been doing the show?
Damn, next month is gonna make us 5.
Right. So we've been doing our shows about the end of it. Yeah, we're in our 5th year. Next month will be your 5th year. Yeah, we've been doing our shows about the same amount of time, and I love the growth that I've seen from you guys, because you guys came literally out of nowhere, built it up from yourselves, and have done everything the right way. I add someone in wrestling now, and I understand why wrestlers are not fond of the media, but you guys do the right thing. Yes, you give your opinions, but you're not giving opinions that don't make sense, right?
Yeah, listen, we try to make it comfortable. We try to keep it real. We try to keep it funky, because at the end of the day, man, we try to keep it at the source. Kind of like what we do here at Run the Break. We try to keep it at the source in terms of hoop. Try to keep it on the source level in terms of graps. That's just what we do. I know some people want to mark for themselves in the industry, whether they're podcasters or not. Some people who've had shows and some who are no longer on shows. But like, you don't want to be a personality and just do it because you want to see yourself seen. If I wanted to be famous and and do all this stuff, I would have done far more stuff in order to do that. I just do it because I love it. Like, we do this because we love of the game.
Yeah, it's the love of the game. Like, yeah, I say this, right?
You want to say something? You want to say something?
Who want to say something?
My dog, the puppy? Cookie wants to say something. Oh, hey.
Okay, I guess not. Cookie almost took you out. But the tagline of the Your Sports Show and the Your Sports Show Network is bigger than sports, right?
Yes.
Because it's always bigger than everything is always bigger than sports, right? You got family, everybody got work life, everybody got their love life, everybody got a life. So it's always bigger than what we speak about. That's why we speak about so many topics across the network. That's why you get topics about us speaking about love and sex and all this other shit. That's why you got us. Right, leave that to Matt. I mean, I join when I can. I do when I can. But also, like, when we earlier on during the pandemic, we were talking about civil rights and move like that, because we were talking about everything that needed to be spoken about. So that's what you get from the Your Sports Show Network. That's what you get from Backstage Brawl. Shout out to the JabbaTids Network, JabbaTids Podcast, JabbaSlam, June 21st. A different world is the theme. I cannot wait for you guys to see the matches that are coming out. I can't wait for you to see the matches that are coming out. Tickets are on sale now on I will put the link at the end, but go on the JabbaTids page, you will see the event link. I cannot wait for this show. Cannot wait for the show. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be a part of the show last year. This year, we're back being a part of it. I'm back being a part of it, and can't wait to show you guys the pre-show. I can't wait to
who's holding your belts to the ring this year? Because you've been holding belts for other people. Who's holding your belts to the ring this year?
It's still me. I'm the wise brother. I hold the belts. I hold the belts. Remember, I am a part tag team champion, and you may see said tag team belts on showcase at JabbaSlam. I can't tell you everything yet. The matches are coming out very soon. The matches may come out this week, so
all right,
you better check that out. Y'all better check that out. But listen, JabbaSlam 5, A Different World's coming out soon, and the way this is set up this year, I think is a good way to showcase everybody, and we're gonna have a definitive winner this year for every single match. There will be a definitive winner for every single match.
Say less.
Yeah, and you may see some old rivalries being renewed. You may see some tag teams fighting against each other. There's a lot of things you may see. There's a couple of surprises. You may see some people from some other companies that you didn't think you might see wrestling at JabbaSlam. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Right?
I mess with it.
Sponsorships are available. Please contact myself or Janelle from HR for that. And listen, that's all the time we have for Run the Break Podcast. I am A.R. Jones, a.k.a. Dre, a.k.a. Big Baby. This is the People's Champ, the final boss, Randy.
Timberwolves, Beowulf, Jordan Wolves.
And we are out. Peace.